The San Antonio Spurs season is over. What are some of the best and worst moments that we witnessed this season?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs for the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs whatever Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below. You're on YouTube. It says LO Spurs newsletter. Click on that link. Or just go to LockedOnDaily.com. You guys are the everydayers. Thank you for coming back here to Locked On Spurs. What are we talking about today? You can see on your screen right now, whatever you're listening. Well, we're going to be talking about the season is over. That's right. Yesterday, the Spurs season came to an end. At least they went out on a high note, beating the Raptors, so yay. But nevertheless, no postseason action for your Spurs. The long offseason ahead is starting now. But before we dive into the thick of things and the weeds of the offseason, we're going to take a look back. We're looking back at some of the best and worst moments of the season. There were plenty of those kind of moments. We're going to try to filter down which ones that we like, that we enjoy. And also, we're going to ask the big question, what is one thing this Spurs team has to do this offseason? And that'll carry over into the new season. So we're going to try to figure that out and more on this episode of Locked On Spurs, which is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Yeah, go to FanDuel right now. So let's go and bring in our guest. He is Matt Guzman of Spurs on Sports Illustrated. By the way, he's not in a library, everybody. I fell for it. That's not a library. Although we can say it's an... Wait a minute. Hold on, let me put this together. Are you really Batman? Like, if we pull one of those books, is going to open up the door to the Batcave?
Yeah, it's Frost Bank Center, but yes, you pull the book over. It's a little further down. Yeah, it's right into the tunnels.
All right. Again, Matt is with Spurs on Sports Illustrated. Follow him on X at MattGZMAN. And as always, we love that he's carving out some time of his busy schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. And Matt, the season is over. It feels kind of like a relief because this season didn't amount to postseason playing. There were so many obstacles, from Pop to Wemby to Fox, losing skids. There were some trying moments, and there were some good moments. That's why you're here. We're going to try to sort out the good and the bad. You're the guest, Matt. Let's kick things off with you. When you look back at the 24-25 season, why don't we start with what do you want? You start with good news or bad news? The best moments or the worst moments?
I guess we start with bad so we can get to the good moments in a little bit and end it on a high note like the Spurs.
There you go. All right. So what are some of your bad moments that you look back at the season and be like, man, that really did happen, didn't it?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, right off the bat, Popovich and goes down and Spurs have to adjust to life with Mitch Johnson as the acting coach. But apart from that, you lose the stars later in the season, which, we can talk about here in a second. The stretch of the season that really stood out to me was actually starting on Victor's birthday. I remember talking to him that game and asking him, what's it like to share your birthday with basketball? And he said he really liked it. He was appreciative of the fans that got to sing him happy birthday and stuff. But that game, they hosted the Nuggets. They lost to the Nuggets. They went on the road next game, lost to the Bulls, went on the road again, lost to the Bucks. And then that next game was the one that was postponed in LA with the Wildfires. And I think that whole stretch for that team, just kind of everything being up in the air, so uncertain, was a little weird. I would put that probably in one of the worst stretches of the season, far as outcome goes, and honestly morale. I can't imagine that was fun to be cooped up in a hotel wondering if you're going to play basketball in Los Angeles.
Yes. Yeah, you mentioned Pop. The exit interviews yesterday. I believe it was one time the players were asked about that coaching shift because Pop's health. I think it was Keldon said that night everybody was kind of stunned, like it was not a jolly locker room. Right. Everybody was kind of just like, what just happened? So they were shook, and you had a lot of those shook moments from the Pop health issue. Wemby, we'll talk about that in a bit. So there was a lot of those too. I mean, even Sohan brought up the wildfires. I mean, the wildfires, happened. That kind of got to them too. But yeah, the Pop situation has to be at top of the list. And
sure,
it's a big question in the offseason. Is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? The scuttlebutt on Meteor Row at the final game was everybody's kind of leaning towards no, that he's probably not going to come back. But nevertheless, yeah, losing Pop was a big blow. And it happened early, which I guess is good. It's not like, can you imagine that happened and they're they're in the play-in right now,
Right.
and you lose Pop. I mean, that would have been a huge blow right there. But no, losing Pop, yeah, that was a huge one. What's another one on your list?
Yeah, another one was, De'Aaron Fox is going for surgery. I think everyone was really excited at the trade deadline whenever he came in, and they were kind of hoping that duo, Victor and then Fox, would propel him to a play-in berth, even a top 6 seed if they got lucky. But it was definitely something that was looming over him, even when he showed up in San Antonio, was, we're going to have to get down or sit down and get this fixed. He's not going to be able to play with his fingers taped. And I think the fact that he wrote it out from, training camp until March, he said that, the surgeon told him his finger's never going to be completely straight. They were able to repair it. It should be fine. But, he was definitely going through that. And so I think that was another tough blow. But, the silver lining in that is that you can, have good confidence that he's going to come back feeling better and, you get that addressed. You don't have to deal with it moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like a tease. We only got 5 games of De'Aaron Fox, and that was it. And then most of that was on the road. The Spurs fans at home didn't really get to see more Fox. And I remember I was at an event that Fox was taking a part in. It was like a Spurs gaming event at the Frosthof. Right. And that was the day of where they announced that he was going to be sidelined for the rest of the season. And I remember turning around like, is he still there? Can I go talk to him? But they took him out of that event in a hurry. And then it was like 3, 2, 1, then announcement, unavailable now. But yeah, he was in good spirits. He was nervous for the surgery, and I don't blame him. Any type of surgery is bad.
Well, he mentioned it was his first surgery ever. So I imagine that's a little scary.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but just, it kind of ties into what I'm going to bring up in my worst moments in just a few minutes. But within those 5 games, you got to see what is likely going to happen down the road. We'll be talking about that and more. But Fox, yeah, losing Fox was bad because that happened right after Wemby. So you took the blow of Wemby, you took the blow of Popovich being out. Like, how much can this get worse? And then boy, by Fox, and it's like. And they say bad things happen in threes, and there is perfect example right there. Pop, Wemby, Fox. And it was like boom, 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 boom. And yeah, that's going to take the wind out of your sails for any team. You lose your, Hall of Fame head coach. You lose your all-world, possibly face of the league player, Wemby. You lose his running mate. Yeah, you're gonna go through it. Those are some of the worst moments right there. Yeah. 2 good, bad, worst moments, but we're trying to get rid of the bad first. So let me throw my couple ones out there for you, for those out there. It's just, I'm getting tongue-tied right now because I'm thinking about it. That night in San Antonio against the Warriors, did they even show up? What was it, like a 40-plus point beatdown that night?
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing the Spurs could do. Nothing to slow down that Warriors squad that night. It was to the point you texted me from Media Row saying, am I really here? Is this really happening? Something to that effect, like, this is bad, Jeff. You're like, this is bad.
Right.
And it was almost like, it was so surreal because you would look at the scoreboard and you're like, are they really down that much? Are they there? Is somebody get hurt? Are they playing with the depleted squad? Is Jeff and Matt out there sitting up for the Spurs? That's why they're getting beat down? Seriously, it was so bad. And that was one of the lower points of the season, is just how much they got beat by the Warriors team. It was embarrassing. It was just not reflective of what this team could be. And, you don't want to give out excuses. Oh, you didn't have Wemby. You didn't have Fox. You're trusting a rookie point guard Castle to do your thing, and how much more can CP3 give you? But to not even be competitive, to not even show up, that was one of the worst moments for me looking back at this past season. But we even said it before we hit the record button here. There's probably a lot more worse moments than good moments, but that one ranked right up there for me. You were there that night. What was that atmosphere like?
Yeah, it was bad. I think the moment that will stick with me from that night was, I think it might have been late to end of third quarter, maybe 10 minutes left in the fourth. And so many fans had started to leave already. that they had to flash their like graphic on the screen saying, "Hey, catch us next time at Frost Bank Center when we take." And so it was like, normally that happens the last 30 seconds,
The last 30 seconds, yeah.
it was late third quarter, early fourth quarter that they had to show that on the screen, and it was ridiculous.
That was bad. Look, we're trying to get rid of the bad real fast, everybody. Because believe it or not, there were some good moments, some fun moments as well. But my other bad moment was losing Wemby. I know, obvious, I get it, right? But it was just more for me what could have been. That's what made me feel just what could have been. Even at bare minimum, he stays on the court until the last game of the season. It just made you think like, man, could this team have really challenged for a play-in spot? Could they have been in the mix? Could they have been in those updates that we get from the NBA? Like if so-and-so loses and this team wins, could they have been in that mix? I think Wemby alone gives you that shot to get into the play-in. The defense, the offense, look, him getting the blood clots, that's bad. And I get that. That's one of the worst moments. But it just highlighted that, man, with him, this team could have maybe have done something. Because going into this new season, sure, Vegas had this team at 35, 36 wins, but I think they were going to just blow that win total. I really had them in the 40s, maybe the middle 40 win total there. And I think this team could have done it. He threw in Fox at the time. Sure, they're really going to blow that projection out. But when Wemby went out, it just took the sales out of the season as much as Pop did as well. But even losing Pop for the season, you still had, okay, well, at least Wemby's still here. And then Wemby goes out and like, man, there goes the season. So just for me, it just stung more like what could have been if just bare minimum Wemby could have stayed on the board. All right, so we got the bad out of the way. So let's go into the good. And we're going to do that coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. What are some of the good moments, good memories from the 24-25 Spurs season right here on Locked On Spurs with Matt Guzman of Spurs on Sports Illustrated. Follow him on X at MattGZMAN. But first, I want to talk to you about Prize Picks.
Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Think Wembanyama's going to drop 30 points? Maybe Devin's going to get more than 8 assists? Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. Look, I've been using Prize Picks all season long. It's very addictive. I mean, last week, just pretty much every day, Wemby's going for more than 20 plus points. You got Devin Vassell playing well right now. That's the kind of action I'm talking about. And with Prize Picks Flex Play option, even if one of my picks doesn't hit, I can still double my money. Plus, once I hit, I get my money fast, sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. It's honestly the best way to keep the game exciting. Now's the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get in on the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. After the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing my space helps me get back into a routine. Whether you're tidying up, cleaning out, or just want to give your space a new look to start the new year, Wayfair has everything you need, all within your budget. Look, if you're looking for furniture, they got huge selections that make it easy to find pieces that fit your style and budget. Hassle-free delivery, free delivery, even for larger items. Wayfair site, so easy to navigate. You'll find everything you need in no time. There's nothing you can imagine right now that they might not have. I mean, seriously, they got it all. There's something for everyone, for every style, at every home, no matter your space or budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your New Year's home goals with endless inspiration for every space. And, for example, what is your decor style? Well, what items do you want to pick? You want to go to Wayfair right now. So again, delivery, free, fast, and hassle-free. Give your home the results it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
This is Homer Simpson, and you are listening to my favorite Spurs podcast, Locked On Spurs. Donuts.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Matt Guzman, or should I say Bruce Wayne? Because I suspect that's the entrance to the Batcave behind
That's right.
Matt there. Yeah, exactly. He is with Spurs on Sports Illustrated. Follow my next at Matt G, ZMAN. And we're looking back at last season. Kind of filter out some of the good, the bad moments. We quickly got rid of the bad moments because, unfortunately, there were a lot more bad moments than we would like from the Spurs this past season. Losing skids, getting thumped almost every night. The list goes on and on. But there were some good moments. Matt, kick us off here. What is one of your better moments of the Spurs season?
Yeah, honestly, I think the game I really liked was there was a 2-game stretch from New Year's Eve onto January 3rd when the Spurs beat Denver in Denver and they beat the Clippers at home on New Year's Eve. And I think the thing that stuck out to me the most about that stretch, specifically after December 31st, that was when Mitch Johnson gave his amazing, probably the best quote, probably my favorite quote of the season, when he said, it's spectacular, or it's amazing how spectacular his simple is. Just talking about Victor and how he can make everything look so easy, even though it's quite outlandish, the things that he can do on the court, and we see that consistently. But I really liked that game, especially because, before he got hurt, before they got Fox, that period of time kind of felt like that was the turning point where maybe, hey, they are going to make a run and try to, blow out their record from last 2 seasons, out the water. And I thought that maybe that was the beginning of a good, strong, solid stretch for him. But, obviously things happen. But I did really like that stretch. And I think, the team morale was probably as high as it was, during that period of time.
Yeah, you go back if you look back at the start of the season, even going into a few months already, there was hope that this team can really put something together. There was there, and they had that stretch of the winning the games. They were being competitive. They weren't getting smoked every night. They were a team that could have been deadly in the postseason, whether it be the play-in or if somehow they made it to the 1 through 6 slots. But that stretch put a smile on face because, and I think that was pre-Fox, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So think about it now. You throw in De'Aaron Fox in that mix. There's something special here, and a lot of Spurs players talked about that after the season was over, saying there is something special here. Chris Paul, agreed that they're really good here. Keldon Johnson said he likes where this team is trending. The list goes on and on. So it's there, and if you needed proof of that, you go back to what Matt just said. Look at that stretch of games. Defense was spot on. Remember, Matt, they were one of the better defensive teams to start the season. They were right up there. And then, man, that plummeted fast, didn't it? But we're trying to focus on the good things here. So, but nevertheless, I think that gave us a glimpse of what this team could be. You throw in Fox, there are bright days ahead. What's another good moment that you got on your mind here?
Speaking of Fox, the game where right before he got announced that, he was going to get surgery in this season as well, he had that 30-point game in the back-to-back series against Dallas. And I think it was a way for him to kind of say, like, this is what you're getting by bringing me here. Obviously, that was one of the last games between, that game was after Victor was out. And so, he was by himself, but he kind of wanted to give a chance to show the fans and show the Spurs, why they got him and what he was able to do. And I was really, I was glad that he had a chance to do that before his season was over. But that was another good moment that stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those back-to-back 30-point nights for Castle. The season is over now, and Castle was asked about the Rookie of the Year award, and he said now he's going to start thinking about it. Now he's going to start focusing on it. And look, I think Matt, it's done, right? He's got to win the Roy, right? Yeah. I mean, tell me I'm not going crazy here, right?
No, yeah, he's got it.
He's got it, right? The total points, heads above everybody in the draft class. Steals, he's right up there. Free throw attempts. I mean, pick a category. You're likely to see Castle's name at number 1 or at least in the top 5. He is the Rookie of the Year. And he even said that he wasn't even paying attention to other rookies in his class as far as the chase for the Roy. He said he wasn't paying to Zachary Ricochet, nothing. He says he just focused on the task at hand. And that kind of, that kind of sums up what the Spurs have gotten with Castle because he's quiet. He gets the job done. He goes in the court, makes an impact on both ends of the floor. And he's doing it as a rookie. So you can imagine what he's going to do in year 2 with the full off season and training and adding more size to his frame, So he's a problem now. He's going to be double problem next season. All right. So what are some of my favorite moments from last season? I mean, Matt, how do we not forget about the Mamu Flavor Flav night? The Mamu Flavor, that night was just fun. Just fun. Because you got Mamu, he's a fan favorite. You know, at that time, remember, the Spurs fans were, moving the doors, rattling the cages, like, play Mamu more. What are you doing? Give him more minutes. They gave him more minutes. He had that NBA record scoring, like 30-something points or whatever it was, and X amount of time. He had that record. He had the whole Frost Center just going crazy. And then you had Flavor Flav in the crowd, who, come to find out, that's his friend. Like, whoever thought, you know what? Sure, Mamu would have Flavor Flav as a friend. I would not be surprised. And nobody, you fast forward. Somebody would tell me, hey, he's friends with, I remember someone from my age. You probably don't remember him, Mr. T or something like that. Or he's, or your era, Matt. He's friends with Taylor Swift. You'll be like, okay, yeah, sure, not a problem. Yeah, that's just Mamu right there. But that night was so much fun, and I think the fans needed it too.
Absolutely.
The fans were going through it. Like, even I hit a wall. I mean, I talked to you about that, lots during this past season. I just hit a wall. I mean, the losses were just mounting up, and it was almost predictable. And they're going to be up at half. They're going to blow it in the second half. But that night, it was just so electric, so much fun. And Mamu was just showing the pure joy of playing basketball, yelling and screaming and pumping his fist. And then afterwards, in the postgame, he kept on saying, did that just really happen? Did that happen to me? Did that happen to me? And what made it even better was, not only did he have the crowd jumping up and down, he had that incredible offensive outburst, the Flavor Flav there in the house. His dad was in the house. His brother was there to see him. He's going against the Knicks, the team that he grew up. Remember, he grew up in the New Jersey, New York area. I would have seen Hall. So it just was just a special night for Mamu, and it put a lot of smiles on fans' faces, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember sitting there at the end of the game, and he started getting MVP chants at the free throw line. So I ended up asking him if he'd ever, heard an arena chant MVP for him, and he was like, "Well, maybe in Georgia, but not in the States." So he was very excited. Yeah, it was a joy to watch that game and just see the Spurs have fun. And I remember, after that day that Victor was out too, and at Moody Center against the Suns, both of those games, it just looked like the team was having fun and had a chance to actually just forget about everything for a little while. So it's always great when you have a team that's been through so much get a chance to do that.
How good was Mama that night? He got himself a mural in San Antonio, everybody. Yeah, that's a mural in San Antonio. I talked to him about that yesterday. I said, hey, you got a mural in San Antonio? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I go, what do you think? He goes, they did a pretty good job. So he approved of the likeness of him on the mural there. And then he also told me, he goes, but we don't have one in Georgia. So Georgia artists, if you're listening right now, got to get on that right now. But yeah, that was just a fun night. And I remember just watching the game, big smile on my face, like, wow, like, good for you, Mamu. Like, I'm glad it happened to him because he's a character. He's just such a character. Yeah, so that's right up there for me. For me also too, kind of having a high on this was another good moment, and sure, I can be like, Wemby made an all-star, that's a good moment but I think there's going to be tons of those moments for him moving forward. But I have to pick another one. I think I'm going to go with Castle. I did not think that he was going to have this type of impact his rookie season. I think that's one of the best moments. I think the Spurs, they were always looking, again, pre-Fox, before Castle, like, man, Wemby needs a running mate. It's going to be Vassell. It's going to be Keldon. We got to make a swing for the fences. But lo and behold, that running mate was in the draft. And it was Steph Castle. That's the same thing that Fox isn't, but I'm thinking like, wow, now Wemby has two running mates now. He has Fox and he has Castle. But going back to Castle, just what he did this season was just so impressive. So impressive. You mentioned the outburst he had, the 30-point outburst. But then to see his tenacity, to see, let's face it, he has a lot of dog in him. he looks the type like if he gets shoved, he's gonna shove back.
Correct.
I felt for him a few times because he was getting the rookie treatment from refs when he was getting mauled every time he go to the paint or the rim. But his emergence, I did not see coming. I saw an impact, but I didn't see this impact. I didn't see the impact where fans were every cheering or just clamoring for him to start. Put Castle in. I guess one of the best moments is when I started seeing defenses respect him. Now, you go to the game they won in Golden State with the Harrison Barnes 3-point shot there.
Right.
The defenses were really Golden State defense was really respecting Castle. They were doubling him, everything. So I think that was a sign of just how much he's made such an impact on not just the Spurs, but opposing teams are studying on him. They're scouting him. So his emergence is one of the best moments for me. And I think the Spurs core with Wemby, Fox, and Castle, I don't want to go in the next big three, because they got a lot to prove to get up there with Tim, Tony, and Manu. But, man, if that's a start of something good, and I love what I'm seeing out of Castle and then some. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Castle, I mean, I think the only indictment on his game coming into, his rookie year was whether or not he'd be able to shoot. Yeah. I think people were worried that was going to be his sole way of scoring. And if he can't shoot, he can't score. There's no way he's going to be good. His jump shot is still definitely a work in progress, right?
Sure.
It's to be expected. He's 20. He's not 21. He can't drink. If they were to make the championship, he would have been able to partake in the champagne in the locker room. He's still got a long way to go. And I think, everything that he has shown as far as, his hustle, his defensive prowess, and his ability to get to the rim, just his pure ability to drive is kind of ridiculous. And I think it's something that, he just kind of does it all with he's just so stoic, so calm. He kind of makes it seem like second nature. He doesn't overreact. He's never too big or too little. And so I think, he's showing a lot of signs in year one that he's going to be a big time impactor for the Spurs, not only this year, but in the years to come. He's definitely going to be, a big time player next to Victor Wembanyama.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Other good moment that we can also project maybe in the future is Jeremy Sohan, because he admitted that he wants to be the next Spurs Coyote. Maybe one day we'll put that in the best moments list in the future there. He literally said that. He goes, in his exit interview, he's like, oh, yeah, I think I could be the next Spurs Coyote. He goes, once I'm done with basketball, I could do it. You know why? Because he got addicted to the T-shirt gun. He said, he goes, that thing has power. That thing has power. I could do this. I could be the next Spurs Coyote. So
I can picture him saying that.
That's definitely a Sohan thing to say. But you know what? As much as there were bad moments this past season, there also were good moments. You mentioned, we talk about Wemby making an all-star nod. There was Steph Castle, a rising star nod. We even talked about another funny moment, the time where Chris Paul and Victor try to rig the system at the all-star break at the obstacle course there. What was it? The skill challenge. So that was one of the better funnier moments of this season. But again, what do y'all think? We need to hear from y'all. What do you think are some of the good moments, the bad moments, funny moments? We even talk about Steph Castle's car getting wrecked and the wheel turned out, So again, let us know what your thoughts, good moments, bad moments. You let Matt know on X at MattGZMan. I mean it by going to Locked On Spurs YouTube, leaving a comment there. We'll read it in the future episode of Locked On Spurs. Coming up next, we're going to ask the question, what is one thing this team has to do this offseason? We're going to figure that out and more right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, I want to talk to you about FanDuel.
The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props from three-pointers, steals, assists. FanDuel has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. You got to try out the FanDuel app right now. Download it, get it on your favorite device. Easy to use, user-friendly. You can pick it up in no time and just have fun watching the NBA playoffs. Don't miss out. Head out to FanDuel.com to claim your $250 in bonus bets today.
as the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Matt Guzman of Spurs on Sports Illustrated. Follow him on X at MattGZMAN. Now, the offseason is here, Matt. It's officially begun for the San Antonio Spurs. There's a lot of stuff they got to do. They got to worry about the lottery coming up soon. They got to worry about the draft night, bringing in players to work out, et cetera, et cetera. But still, the rebuild continues. It's getting better. The light's getting brighter than the tunnel, but it still continues on. Matt, if you're talking to the team right now, or we had to send a memo to the Spurs, you said, guys, you got to do this one thing this offseason, what would it be?
I think the biggest thing for me that I want to see from this Spurs team next year, right out the gate, is an improved sense of chemistry. I want it to look like De'Aaron Fox and Victor have played and run the pick and roll game over and over and over again. I want it to look like Castle has learned from De'Aaron Fox over the offseason that, I want to see proof that, spending a year with Chris Paul has helped his game tremendously. There are a lot of things that I think the Spurs need to show, but, above all of them, I just want them to look a little bit more cohesive and look like they've played together for quite some time. And I think an entire offseason to do that will be huge for them in that effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it starts with, them, getting together for those voluntary workouts. They usually ride some of the long colleges in San Antonio. Sure, give them a couple weeks of rest, but I think they got to get back in the lab. They got to start getting that chemistry done, because Sohan brought it up post game. Toronto said that this team is going to look different. He's even anticipating it, that it's going to look different next season. But we know some of the core pieces will be back. Sohan will be one, Castle, Wemby, Fox. We get that. Those guys definitely need to start gelling together. The sooner they can do it, the better. Because this team's got to come out of the gate strong, especially in the West. If you go on a 4 or 5 game losing skid, you can go from, number 4, 3 team down to 6, 7, 8, like in an instant. So they got to get that chemistry. And I agree with you. I think Wemby and Fox to get the pick and roll done, because we don't know if Chris Paul is going to be back. But nevertheless, you got Fox to run it with. You got Castle to run it there with Wemby. Also, too, you look at this team and they're definitely together in the sense they're a team and everything, but they had so many different lineups. You got Bismack Biyombo coming in, and then you got Sohan starting at the 5. No, he's now a 4. Castle, you're starting. No, you're coming off the bench. Fox. Oh, welcome, Fox. Sorry. Insert player here. Dylan Vassell, you coming off the bench now. Oh, no, you're going back as Fox. Just so much ins and out, topsy-turvy. So chemistry is going to be key for this team going into the new season. For me, my one thing I got to see is got to give those keys to the car to Castle. That's it. It's done. You got to give him the car keys, because this is his team to run. Not necessarily he's the guy, that's Wemby's, but he's running the show. He's going to be setting the guys up, getting the offense going, getting guys in transition, scoring for himself, playing defense. As much as Chris Paul, he gets the tip of the cap, he's a Hall of Famer, and he's unknown whether he's going to come back. But if he does come back, he has to understand he has to take a backseat to Castle. It's time for him to be the starting guard. Not Paul, not Blake Wesley, not somebody else they may bring in. It has to be Castle. He's proven it. He earned his stripes his rookie season. The numbers show it. The defensive numbers show it. The offensive numbers show it. Everything flows better with him out there. He'll work on his jump shot this offseason. If he can get even a steady mid-range, something like that, that'd be great. That's a step in the right direction. But this is going to be his point guard or guard spot. I know he's not really a point guard, but this is his guard position. And if Chris Paul wants to come back, then he's going to have to take a second seat to him. But I don't know if that's going to rub Chris Paul the wrong way. That's for a whole other show. But nevertheless, Matt, that's one thing I got to see. It's almost like when Tony Parker took over. Now, Tony Parker took over in season when they just said, this is you run the point guard. It's all you. I think they had to defer that because Chris Paul was on the roster. Now, because we don't know if he's going to come back or not, you got to move forward with this rebuild. The best way to go for the rebuild for the future is with Castle, not with an aging Chris Paul. No offense to him. He was very, very productive this year. Played 82 games, durable for the first time in a long time for him. But the rebuild begins with the youth, and it's Castle. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like what you're saying. It's not Castle is the best player on this team. It's not Castle is better than Chris Paul. It's not Castle knows more than Chris Paul. It's simply, Castle has proven himself enough to earn a starting point guard position or a starting guard position with the Spurs next to De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. And if Chris Paul wants to come back, that's great. But you're going to have to explain, circumstances have changed. We are very, very grateful for what you did for us. We're very, very grateful that you spent your 20th season as a Spur. And I think everybody is in agreement with that, but like you said, it's time to kind of move forward and think about the rebuild. You have a healthy Victor coming back. You have De'Aaron Fox in his second year with the Spurs coming back. You want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for as much success as you next season. And I think that lies in Castle.
Yeah, it definitely is. And look, Castle, Fox, and Wemby, that's a nice trio right there. You build around that, and you start Castle. There's just it just makes sense. Throw him out there. He's your guard of the future. You move forward with him. Chris Paul gave the teachings to him. I mean, one of the last things that Chris Paul told Castle to do in the last game of the season was Castle to go to a playoff game. Goes, Castle, go watch a playoff series. Go to a playoff game. Watch it. He said Chris Paul told everybody in the post conference that did wonders for Chris Paul's young virgin development. He said that got me charged up. Like, he goes, I'm tired of just watching these games. I want to play in these games. He said that did wonders for him. So at the bitter end, Chris Paul imparted that knowledge to Castle, saying, go watch a playoff series. So that just highlights Chris Paul's done great for Castle this past season on him. I mean, recently, you and I saw, there's some Chris Paul really got on him sometimes, but you got to let the rookie go. You got to let him run. And this is the perfect time to do it with him emerging. And is it too soon to start thinking all-star berth for him? Is that too soon next year, sophomore year?
I don't know.
Soon?
I think it might be a little bit, but he's no doubt going to be running back that Rising Stars invitation.
Oh, for sure. All right, so those are listen, one thing we got to see the Spurs do immediately now that the offseason has begun. But what do you think? What is one thing the Spurs got to do? And also tell us some of your best and worst moments of last season. Let Matt know on X at MattGZMan. He is with Spurs on Sports Illustrated. Matt, tell us what's cooking in your neck of the woods.
Well, I'm finally, now that the season's over, getting around to the third year of kind of looking back at what the Spurs were able to accomplish with their Austin effort. And speaking with Brandon James, again, a key member of that Spurs front office over in Austin, just to kind of figure out, how it went. Did Paris affect it? What are the players kind of feeling about being at home? I know that they talked a little bit about that during the exit interviews yesterday. So that's kind of what I'm going to go get started on right away. And then, then you look at the team needs and how players did, and you start analyzing and figure out what's going on from here.
Yeah, you got the draft too. So lottery, Spurs, I think they're at 8, right?
Yeah, they've locked in the 8th best odds.
In 8th best odds. Unless the basketball gods smile on the Spurs again, and somehow, some way, that ping pong ball flies their way in that lottery. But outside of that, the best they could do is 8. I think they get Atlanta's 13 or 15. They get, or something like that. 8, 13, I think that's 13. But nevertheless, they're going to have 2 cracks of the apple there, 2 bites of the apple to get some good players. So we'll see that again. That's the offseason for. Start getting rid of the future. Matt, as always, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. Offseason may have begun. Spurs season is over. It doesn't mean Matt's going away. No, we're still bothering him as the offseason continues. So it's not over for him, Matt. No, I got his number. Hey, he's screwed. He's screwed now.
I can't escape.
You can't escape. But everybody, again, follow him on X at MattGZMan and check out his stuff on Spurs on Sports Illustrated. For everybody else, you guys are the everydayers. And again, like I said, just because the off season has begun and season's over doesn't mean we're stopping here at Locked On Spurs. We're going to continue going throughout the off season. Again, you got the lottery, you got player movement, will Mamu be back, Chris Paul be back. I mean, there's so many things we can talk about as the off season begins. We're even going to talk some NBA playoffs too. Might as well, right? everyone's going to be watching it. But subscribe to Locked On Spurs, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kinspy, Plus app, YouTube. Check out the Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below. Just click on that link, it says newsletter, and click on it and sign up for free. Go to Locked On Daily for the rest of the newsletters. You guys are the everydayers. Keep on coming here to Locked On Spurs every single day. So for Matt Guzman, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.